$2 million up top, $15 million prize pool. It is DraftKings Best Ball Week. I'm joined today again by Pat Kerrane for our shot to not be tilted, to not be sniped like we brutally were last time. Let's see if we can find a winner. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. All right, Kerrane, we are back for another draft, and we are drafting out of the 101 this time. No slow roll, so we are drafting out of the 101. So we
we had the 101 last time?
No, I told you we had the 101, but
That's right.
but I realized that we absolutely did not have the 101. Instead, it just when you go into the interface on your desktop, for those of you who've never drafted on the desktop before, you'll see this command bar up here, and it will display what pick the draft is on.
Mm-hmm.
So it was displaying that it was at pick 101. I thought that meant that we were 101, but we were not. So I lied to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
All right, we've got the sidekick pulled up. We're going to be taking Ja'Marr Chase. By the way, there's just this interesting... The sidekick is just a slightly different color on DraftKings, which I think is just interesting. I don't know. Why
it's
is
the
that?
DK colors, man.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some real Soccer Dave matching the Pantone style work there from my friends over at Sidekick Industries. You want to know a funny thing about the 101 this year? Every other pick in the first round has changed at some point. Literally all the other 11 picks in the first round have changed their ADP and ordering on DraftKings everywhere, right? Jefferson and Barkley have flip-flopped. Bijan and Gibbs have flip-flopped. Everyone has flip-flopped other than Ja'Marr Chase, which is just kind of interesting that everyone, with all this uncertainty, we still universally agree Ja'Marr Chase is the 101.
It is interesting because I don't think he's like the most like locked in clear cut 101. I think he is the 101, but it's not. There's been certain years where you're just like, how is it anyone but this guy? And you're so psyched to get a 101 to have your chance to draft that player. But
I faded. I stone faded a 101 once. The year Best Ball Mania 2, year Jonathan Taylor was 101. I didn't take any of him. I took McCaffrey because McCaffrey
that was a very good move.
One time it worked, many other times it has not. I think had Barkley stayed at 2 all year, I would have been like, I'll have like 4% of Barkley instead of 8% of Saquon Barkley. Now, I mean, look at this, man. Barkley at 5, that's totally reasonable. I think, honestly, probably this is the game getting a little bit smarter, and the people playing it don't even know. But it is actually smarter to just kind of change the textures of what you're doing. Like, you don't want all your Puka teams to have the same pairing. You don't want your Barkley teams to have all, like, this guy taking Puka at 3, he's going to get a different player than if he would have taken him at 8. And that's a smart way to play the game.
Yeah, and I think Puka's deserving of going that high. I'm not really doing it because I like Lamb a lot, and I don't want to completely fade the running backs. And I have plenty of Puka because I basically, anytime Puka does come to me and, pick 7 or later, I like take him every time. But, I mean, if he was just the 103, I would take Puka at 103.
I think I would too. I think I'm actually cool with that concept. Like I'm basically, now that McCaffrey's ADP has settled, like now that McCaffrey, oh my gosh, I guess Derrick Henry does just go at 11 sometimes on DraftKings. That's not actually that uncommon. But now that McCaffrey is like a stone first rounder, I don't feel the need to make any stances really in the first round. I'm actually just cool with the way this goes.
Yeah. What's the first guy? Like, who's the first player that if they were the 103, you'd be like, I guess I'm out?
Maybe Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. I was thinking from the receiver side, it's probably Brian Thomas. Like, I don't think I can do this.
I mean,
I don't know. I wouldn't take
I don't
none.
think I was gonna say I don't think I would. Maybe I would be lighter on him and Genty. Maybe.
Yeah. Genty too. I mean, I don't take a ton of Genty now, to be honest. So he definitely fits that for me.
I do take a lot of Genty. And I'm fine with him.
I know we talked about it on the last one, but what is going on with the Bowers?
Bowers at 21, dude.
It's crazy.
It's like unbelievable. I actually don't know what's happening. What are
a great pick too, but
yeah. What are people anticipating happening? Like he got decapitated?
Don't know.
He lost his kneecaps or something?
Is there some kind of fireworks rumor with him?
Yeah, is there a fireworks rumor about Bowers? I think we do. Well, what do you want to do?
I definitely want to take McBride with one of these two picks.
So I actually I do not want to take T, and I don't want to take Chase because we're not going to get Burrow. He never makes it to an appropriate spot on DraftKings. So I think we do that, and I think we either take Chase Brown or Tyreek Hill.
I'm down for either. I mean, if you want to go, if you're worried about the not being able to complete the stack, I mean,
let's take. Well, you know what? Let's take Chase Brown. What I mean about not being able to complete the stack is there's a decent chance of us being able to complete it at 48 and 49. There's no chance of us being able to complete it at 72, 73.
Right.
Zero. Like I would bet there is no chance that he is gone lower than that. Which is like, I don't know. I'm not in the business of drafting no rushing quarterback in the top 50 picks.
I always try to push it. It doesn't always work. But
have you ever been able to push it on DraftKings?
No, I don't think I've gotten the complete double with Burrow on DraftKings.
You know, it's really earlier here. It's really interesting, actually. Like, how are people finding the best ball tab on DraftKings? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how our small little insular world knows about contests on Underdog or FFPC or NFC or whatever. But like, I wonder how I would be very curious from our friends at DraftKings, where, based on your guys' data, do your players of the best ball games come from? Like, that is just like fascinating to me. Do you think they get people in from like the sports book or who knows?
I don't know. Cause there is it's just a different thing. Like it's like this, we're obviously a part of it, but it's not as kind of driven by, the little slappy community,
Yeah.
It's just cooking. There's you pop in, the drafts are filling. And
no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, I've maxed this tournament every year it's existed. Like I'm down. I actually am super encouraged and heartened by like them like reaching out to me and you and Neil and stuff to do like best ball stuff. Like there's so much more. I think that best ball has this huge total addressable market that is not being hit. Like if DraftKings was running these huge best ball commercials like on national TV and stuff, the way they did it for DFS, I like there are more people who would draft a best ball team than would enter a DFS contest.
I think that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like how many times are they
entering? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Another reason why I wanted to take Chase Brown there was it's really hard to get a running back on this left side of the board when you're drafting out of the 101. Like, assuming Hampton goes, I'm not taking James Cook. I'm not going to pull up. Well, I guess I would maybe take Kamara. Have you had any rethinking on Alvin Kamara since our main event mishap?
Well, to be clear, for those who don't know, the main event mishap is that we timed out and took Alvin Kamara ahead of Xavier Worthy, I'm sure you would have wanted, but also Omarion Hampton, who is the player that I think I would have been pounding the table for, at least on. And Jacob Sanderson, one of our other co-managers, says he would have been the same way. So potentially the worst possible time. We could have grabbed. I mean, his ADP is probably we timed out now. It probably would have been to Hampton. I imagine his ADP is on the rise. So the mishap, the auto click, the auto pick, very unfortunate. It has not made me any higher on Kamara. I haven't tricked myself into thinking that because we got him on a main event team that now actually is going to have a good season, a better season than I thought. I am open to Kamara though in best ball, and I have been. It's more in the 6th though. He tends to go in the 5th round here, and I think.
But he's He's a way better fit for
the
scoring system though.
He is. That's true. But you got to pay for it a little bit more here, and some of the receivers fall into the mid-5th. So I don't take him a ton on DraftKings, where I think the opportunity cost is just a bit higher with the cheaper receivers and the higher price on Kamara.
All right, now let me refute you with something that Sam Sherman tweeted that kind of has me rethinking my whole identity.
Oh no!
Sam tweeted, "It's me, a guy who only drafts for upside at every pick in fantasy football. I also never pick Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry." Like, think about that.
I mean, I guess I don't. It strikes me as like a ridiculous straw man. Who's?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's from Sam Sherman. Of course, it's a ridiculous.
Who is this person that he said? Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I think we know exactly that it's going to be a ridiculous straw man. Wow, this is crazy on DJ Moore. I mean, I'm podium picking DJ Moore here.
Sure.
If he does not get taken,
D-Mac too, man. I'm pretty excited about.
Well, this is just like after ADP for McMillan.
I know.
All right, he goes.
There goes more.
All right, we'll do McMillan and you want to do Pickens. Burrow actually is here. Do you want to take Burrow?
I'd be down.
Let's do that.
I will. I like to push him, but it's not going to happen. So if you want to do
that is the first time. You know, I've done about 800 fantasy football drafts since Jaden Daniels was taking the field against the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Conference Championship game, and I think that is the first time I've taken Joe Burrow at the 4 or 5 turn.
What do you think about? Like, do you wish we had Higgins, or are you happy to have the Chase Brown?
I would prefer this actually.
I think it's pretty fun to have both Chases and Burrow.
The chances of Chase and Chase Brown all getting there in one game is sub 1%. The chances of T and Chase both getting there in the same game, historically, just in their careers together, has been quite low. Like, them both finishing as top 10 wide receivers in a week, I think has happened once.
Wow.
That's actually not a lot. That's basically what you'd expect. It's really hard to finish as a top 10 wide receiver when your teammate is also smashing. It might be.
But you would think that
it might be twice. It might be twice, but it is not a huge rate. Whereas it's actually it's like positively correlated for a running back and a wide receiver to be together, just because of how they generate points.
Right.
Like Chase and T are kind of an interesting wide receiver pairing in the sense that they are targeted kind of in the same way and in the same areas of the field. You know, that's abnormal for superstar pairs of wide receiver teammates. Normally they kind of have 2 distinct assignments,
right?
Which is sort of interesting.
Yeah, it's both guys are probably best in the intermediate area, but both can win deep. And then Chase is better underneath than T. T is more intermediate and deep, and Chase is kind of all 3 levels. But yeah, it's not like it's not like you have one guy who's kind of the speedy downfield dude. Even though Chase is quite fast.
I would not have minded Kamara on this team to return to the straw man. It's basically like we create every excuse possible for Travis Hunter, but God forbid we create an excuse that James Conner, could do it for the 5th year in a row or whatever.
Well, I guess I mean, if we're talking about upside, now you're using James Conner. Like, what are you saying? What is James Conner's upside? This old veteran running back. The upside's already happened. He's had the chances. Like, we've seen what it looks like. He's good. He's not amazing. He doesn't crush. So yeah, if I'm shooting for upside, give me the Heisman Trophy winning number 2 overall pick, who might be a legit unicorn and can honestly potentially play quarterback and wide receiver at the same time, maybe at an elite level.
Aren't you
that
worried
seems like a better upside play.
Aren't you worried he might have to tackle Jonathan Taylor, dude? Aren't you?
You're talking about downside. It's like, oh, if you're showing an upside, then how come you haven't thought about downside? Like, what? What do you mean?
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. All that is just to say, what is interesting about Kamara is that it's all like contextual. Like, Kamara himself has just been awesome for fantasy. Like, even on kind of bad Saints teams. And like, it's just like, man, if just enough of the contextual things just kind of not even go well, but just kind of arc in his favor. Like, Shuck is not like a disaster.
Right.
And the offensive line stays healthy, and Olave stays healthy, and Shaheed stays healthy, and Kellen Moore is this like awesome play caller that I think he is. It's like, man, could be pretty good. Oh, come on. Do not take RJ Harvey.
Oh,
it's always how that is so brutal.
That's brutal, man. The Kamara guy shouldn't get Harvey.
No. All right. Olave for sure. And then we got to decide, what do you want to do here?
These receivers are pretty flat, I would say.
It's pretty flat. You want to take Caleb Johnson, or do you want to take like Jacoby Meyer or Jordan Addison? Actually, I like.
Yeah, sure.
Jordan Addison. Why not? That is so annoying. Harvey at 61. What is your kind of your breakdown on Olave? A lot of people have a lot of different opinions about Olave. Where are you at?
I'm not that into Olave. I'm not like out, and I was excited to get him here. But it's more about like, I don't take a ton of Olave in the early 6th. And so if he comes back to the 6-7 turn, I'm excited to get some more exposure. But look, I mean, he's got a rookie quarterback that no one thinks is going to be very good. You want to talk about upside, I don't think Tyler Shuck has a lot of upside. At best, he's going to be kind of able to keep the offense from falling apart, move the ball somewhat effectively. But I mean, if he's Davis Mills, that's a win. Right?
Gosh, Davis Mills. Yeah. No, honestly, he is. Yeah, this will be good. Davis Mills. So Davis Mills started 11 games his rookie year. And in that season, Brandon Cooks had 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, which you would take at this price for Chris Olave, frankly. You'd be super cool with that.
You would, but it's not. He doesn't have. I struggle to see him being like the guy you needed in that range of the draft. In a way where, like, when I look at Juwan Jennings, I get kind of that safety, but then you also get he's attached to the 49ers and was awesome. Like, he was like showing a crazy high ceiling of that like 50-point game. But, he was their number 1 wide receiver last year. They lose Debo. Ayuk's coming back off injury. Like, the offense is just so much better. The offense could be a lot better than last year if McCaffrey's back. And Purdy continues to develop and look like just a good quarterback now. Not even really a system guy. So, that, like, I don't think Jennings is this like super high upside pick, but it also wouldn't shock me if he just crushed his ADP.
I mean, Chris Olave has never had 20 half PPR points in a game in his career, and Juwan Jennings has a 50 burger in his career.
Godwin, right? Godwin, he comes back, he's healthy, he's in kind of the same role he was last year. He could crush his ADP, especially down the stretch, especially, in the playoff pods in the final. Like you could easily be like, oh man, like please tell me I have Godwin on this team that advanced.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that.
I don't take much Odunze at all because I think the floor is.
I like Odunze,
and the floor is really low for the price, but the upside's certainly there. So Olave is tough because I think his talent is to the level of the upside that you want, but I think this team's gonna be built around the run. They're not gonna be.
Let me put it this way. If Tyler Shuck is this year's Bo Nix, aren't you just like so mad to not have Chris Olave on a bunch of teams?
Yeah. If he turns out to be Bo Nix, then you're probably pretty disappointed not to have Olave. But I don't see Olave being like a smash. I think he can be a pretty good win at that like 5-6 turn. At the 6-7 turn, that's where I start to think like, yeah, okay, because he's our wide receiver 3 and our wide receiver 2 is a rookie. Like if we get 1,006 out of Olave there, that's pretty awesome. So it's just, I don't know. I've had a harder time getting excited about him at the price where he normally goes. The other thing is that he's dealt with concussion issues, so there's that additional downside risk that he comes with beyond.
What's funny is I think that is actually why he started to fall. Like the reason why he opened up in like ADP low was just nothing to do with like the surrounding stuff. Cause like he does like just in like volume projections, he's got a better volume projection than like Tet. Like I bet like median projections, he's probably projected for more.
Yeah, maybe. He probably is.
Man, this is
down the stretch a guy you could need.
This is kind of brutal here because maybe we should have taken a running back at the last turn because there's not really a draftable running back here. It's tough.
Well, I do like Jaylen Warren, but
I know you do, and I'm gonna let you have your Jaylen Warren. I don't really like Michael Pittman, but we don't need. You want to take Jaden Higgins again?
I would be Pittman. I think he's pretty undervalued, especially if it's Daniel Jones, and I'm not a big Pittman guy.
Yeah, just okay. This is definitely one of the potential skeleton keys of the season. It's just like WTF is going on with the Indianapolis Colts. Who's going to start? Who's going to play? Is Pierce a starter all year? Are they done with the Alec Pierce thing? Like what goes on there? Just give me the legendary upside branded take on the Indianapolis Colts.
Josh Downs might be a star, and so we don't want to overthink that part of it. Now he's a slot player, so he's not going to become like a true fantasy superstar, but he's a really, really talented player, a much more talented player than you typically get where he goes. Michael Pittman was, I think, maybe my single biggest fade all of last season. Just an absolutely awful pick where he was going, but he was going in like the 3rd round. He is a capable intermediate target earner, kind of big possession receiver, plays a ton, runs all the routes, has for his entire career. Nothing is changing there. His role's locked in. And with him, you're just like, give me competent quarterback play. You have 2 outs to competent quarterback play. If Richardson improves this year, or if Jones is able to succeed in that system, which I think he can, at least to the level of supporting possession receiver like Pittman. And another kind of possession receiver with juice and Downs. Like both those guys fit pretty well with what Daniel Jones does. And then generally I'm playing it through AD Mitchell late because I think it's just a bet on what if his talent wins, Pierce is the one I really don't take at all because I will sometimes if he falls just to mix him in, but I think he's much more dependent on Richardson to provide those random spike weeks. And it seems like Jones is going to get the first crack now.
No, you're so right. I mean, Alec Pierce actually did have a couple spikes with Flacco. I remember when one of the Flacco games, he literally caught a touchdown on the final play from scrimmage, like as the clock hit double zeros. I do remember tilting that, but Pierce is a way better fit for Richardson. Just like, all right, I'm chucking a 70-yard bomb and Pierce is going to go and get it. Whereas like Downs and Pittman can eat on these, 7-yard crossers. I'm a smidgen concerned on Downs that maybe the slappies are getting over their skis a little bit, calling like he might be. I'm worried that Josh Downs might be wide receiver Jaylen Warren, where all of his data and these like really small samples looks really good.
It's not really that small of a sample, though.
No,
he's played
a
2
large
seasons.
Well, Jaylen Warren played 2 seasons also.
Yeah, well, he didn't start. Yeah,
Michael Pittman Jr. is kind of the inconvenient truth here in the sense that he is better than the haters have always said he was, right? Remember the funny deal last year was always Michael Pittman Jr. would be the wide receiver of the team that started running back, and it would just happen with like a 100% frequency. And then, I mean, he did play with a broken back last year. Like, that is bound to hurt your nose. And he also, he had all these quarterback stuff. I mean, we took Michael Pittman Jr., so obviously I'm roughly okay with it. But yeah, I'm a smidgen worried.
Stuff, like when we tournaments opened, it was unclear like what his status was with the back.
Right.
Like, is he going to have back surgery? Is this going to linger? And it made him a tough click, and he did go later than he does now, but not a ton. I think it was like in the 1 teens, and I just feel like people never. Because look, I mean, what you're not going to get super excited about. It's like, oh, he might be Daniel Jones's possession receiver. Isn't that good? Like, I don't know. Is it? And they draft Tyler Warren, so you get, it's like, how clean is it and all that, but. I don't know. I think he's just underpriced. Like we're still getting a discount on that back injury. I think that we restarted the ADPs. He'd probably be in the 8th round.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I think Downs would probably start in 7th.
We might be being given a little bit of a gift here, a bailout with Zach Charbonnet. Yeah, we do. I think we smashed the button on Charbonnet. Now we are at a 1-3-5-1. I think we should actually take Drake May here, because when we come back around on the turn, when we come back to 144, I mean, Cam Ward might be the best quarterback left. I think we take Drake May.
Done.
Yeah, that is a big, that
Drake
right
May.
There is actually like a huge strategy thing to think about on DraftKings on the turn, which is that you can find yourself without a quarterback. It's like a flash flood comes and they'll say, oh, I was just outside. It was crazy. You'll get hit with the underdog. We say the wide receiver avalanche on DraftKings. You'll get hit by the quarterback avalanche.
Yeah. Well, it's like the avalanche because it's not. You can't dig out. Like, it's over. It's just, you get swept away. You're out to sea.
Yeah.
You're like, you got the water bottle and you're like squeezing it for like a little drop of Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Hey, Jackson Dart. I think right now Jackson Dart is probably my most drafted player on DraftKings because of that.
Yeah.
Because of the quarterback avalanche. Let's talk a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks. And this is a situation that I actually just have not really gotten into on really any fantasy show. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet were like kind of low key in a timeshare last year. Like, it was like a 60-40, but it was not like it was when Charbonnet was a rookie and before Ken Walker got injured last year. Like, after those games that Charbonnet started, they were like, oh, you're really the third down back, which is kind of funny because Sharbs at UCLA was like, he was a fine pass catcher, but he was not. You would not have defined Zach Charbonnet as like, oh, I expect him to excel in a pass catching role in a West Coast offense. That would never have been the way you would have described Zach Charbonnet, which again actually does lead to what I was just telling you, that a lot of these teams now are going away from the Lightning to just like a fat guy who can keep my quarterback upright, which is just very fascinating. Like I wonder what's driving that.
It's the I think you told me that on another stream. So
I did. I told you that on the Legendary Upside channel while we were drafting a DraftKings best ball team. So if you really want to hear me tell that story the first time, go watch over there.
Yeah, it's the Samaje P-ranification.
It's the Samaje P-ranification of third down backs.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting. Let me pull up his snap shares. Let's see. So Walker was he was above 60% in almost every game. In weeks 7 and 8, he was at 47% and 55%. So I wonder if he was banged up then.
He was. But Charbonnet was, even in those games, Charbonnet was like 34%, 42, 36, 30, 55, 45, 25, 31, 37, 45. Like obviously like Ken Walker is better than him and is the lead back, but like, well, although this is another thing, I'm kind of talking myself in circles here, because another thing is that like year over year, some of the worst bets are the most expensive running back twos. Like the most locked in running back twos are actually horrible bets because they're still contingent bets. Like the difference between, I was actually talking about this with Hayden yesterday, the difference between being projected for 8.4 standalone points like Zach Charbonnet is and 4.4 standalone points like Tyler Algier is actually nothing. Does not matter to your fantasy team at all.
You're paying for the certainty.
You're paying for the
definitely Charbonnet who will take over if Walker's hurt. And then you're also paying for the certainty that like he'll take over in a way.
and be very good.
Yeah. Because Charbonnet had snap counts or snap shares of 96%, 84%, 78, 79%, 80%, 75%, and 78%. Those are his 6 highest. Other than that, it was on the flip side of the Kenneth Walker down week in week 7 when he was at 55%. Walker was at 47%. And then he was at 45% the following week, and Walker was at 55%. So that they were kind of splitting those 2 weeks, but mostly it's like, yeah, he's the contingent guy, and then it's just Charbonnet when he's in there, which is pretty cool. But it's also like, what if you could find that later? You know, that's why I like take a lot of DJ Giddens. I'm like, what if he's that? You know, for free.
I like DJ Giddens, and man, oh my gosh, Colston Loveland is here. What do you want to do? We have some Duval, the Kingsmen with Byshell Tootin.
Yeah.
If we want, we've got Rashad White, who I actually think is fine. Trey Benson is some week 17 stuff. Tank Biggs, whatever you want here.
I like Tootin. I mean, Tootin's. I always like drafting Tootin.
Tootin.
Did Loveland just go? Oh no, he's there.
No, Loveland's still there. We can get I was gonna say we could get the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft at pick whatever this is, pick 145. Man, I've been thinking about the Bears a lot recently, and it's actually quite interesting. I sort of think that the market is kind of underrating Ben Johnson. Like, I feel like the Bears should be more expensive than they are all across the board. I guess the big difference is that Caleb was so uniquely bad last year.
Right.
What's funny is he obviously had like some really high upside games, and like he had a bunch. I think he had like 6 top 10 quarterback weeks or whatever. Did some like good like comeback stuff. I mean, they almost won against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Like, but the sacks were so bad. I don't know. I just have no. What do you think about Caleb Williams? Like, I don't really have an explanation for what his rookie year even was.
I think Caleb Williams is getting a little bit unfairly painted as having this like horrendous rookie year, and I don't think it was horrendous. I mean, it was like not even close to something like Bryce Young's rookie year. It wasn't Zach Wilson's rookie year, like not even in the same ballpark. He flashed. He flashed some upside. He also has some stuff you're pretty concerned about. But we know Jaden Daniels is a star. I also would bet you that if we had flipped them and he had gone to Chicago, that we would be talking about his sacks.
Right.
Because he was a big time sack taker in college, as was Williams. But Jaden Daniels was worse in that area. And he goes to a Commanders team with Cliff Kingsbury, who's very focused on, like, let's get the ball out very quickly. And Jaden excels at that. And then he also he's really quick to scramble. So there weren't that many sack opportunities for Jaden Daniels. He did a good job, and they did a good job of limiting it. But, that's the Bears offense was really poorly designed. And Williams that was a legit weakness in Williams' game coming out, is that he was a sack taker. So I do think that Williams will be a lot better with Ben Johnson. I guess what I would say is, like, the guys that surprise me is being so cheap are Burden, like, by far the most. And then Loveland, although he's dealing with the shoulder thing and is going to miss the beginning of training camp probably. So I think that's factoring into the price. But to be able to play it through those two guys is really exciting to me. I think Moore and Adunze, like, are being propped up by Ben Johnson. Their prices, like,
Adunze is the one. Adunze is the one that is being propped up by just sort of this mystical ethos, because he really was not good.
He wasn't good.
Yeah, and was kind of a sketchy guy to have gone where he did in the NFL draft, 4-year player, like played with a first-round quarterback. That's always a little bit, although we at the time thought Penix was a laughable first-round pick. Joke might be on us a little bit there. I think the most bullish signal for Caleb is the Loveland and Burden picks, because they're just like, yeah, dude, we're gonna chuck it.
Right.
We're gonna
the offensive line. They did a lot of work.
Famously, the number one overall most impactful move of the offseason per the ship chasing offseason draft. All right, we definitely take Demario Douglas here, right?
Yeah.
All right, Demario Douglas.
Windmill.
Now I wonder if we should take a quarterback. We probably push it at quarterback back to 192.
The receiver still is the top priority, which I'm good with. If you scroll down there, what else are you looking at?
I think we just take Jalen Knoll here, because he's the best receiver available, or Tillman, or Pat Bryant. You choose.
I'm good. Whoever.
I really am having like a very adverse reaction to Hayden telling me this slot demon thing.
Yeah, I could tell you kind of needed to take Knoll there.
I needed to like work something out there.
Yeah, Tillman I think is actually a pretty solid pick there.
Yeah,
he looks.
What's the deal with him? Because he went on a Travis Fulgham-esque run last year, and then he went on IR with concussions, and I've heard nothing.
What I have heard is that, like, he's clearly the number 2. But there really isn't any doubt about that. So, yeah, it's been kind of quiet. No one's super excited about the Browns receivers given the quarterback situation, but I think he's solid. Like, if you're filling out wide receiver depth, I think he's a decent pick.
Yeah. I think he's a guy who would go much higher if there was any kind of stackable, like if the Cleveland Browns came out and they said Joe Flacco is our starting quarterback. Well, probably not Flacco. If they said Shadur's our starting quarterback. If they said Shadur, he's done great. He's done everything we asked of him. He had this great training camp. He was good in the preseason. Shedeur is our starter. We're moving forward with Shedeur as our quarterback. Don't they all kind of, doesn't Judy and Njoku, don't they all go up once they become stackable?
Maybe. But I think people are almost rooting for Flacco to get named the starter. So you're like, okay, we definitely have. I guess if Shedeur came in and like immediately solidified that he was clearly the best guy, and it's like we think we might have hit a home run here. We're a little bit worried about some of the character stuff, but like he's showing up every day, doing all the work. He drives out of the facility at the normal speed, and it's just the guy that we were hoping he could turn into. It's ahead of schedule, and he'll be starting for us week 1. I mean, at that point, you'd be like, I don't know what happened with the draft day stuff, but you almost like reset and start thinking about him as like almost a second round pick or something, in terms of the early season opportunity and maybe the type of prospect he is. So yeah, that would all be really bullish. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to start one of the veterans week 1.
The scuttlebutt is that it's going to be Pickett, which is just like, who wants this? Does Kenny Pickett even want this?
You know who wants this? Josh Downs bag holders. We want Kenny Pickett starting in Cleveland because do you even need Joe Flacco then?
Oh, wow, dude, you're Charlie Day. You're doing red lines across the board right now. That's crazy, Kerrane. It took me a second. I was like, did I just stroke out for a second there? And I'm so with you, man. I'm so with you. The Colts are done with Anthony Richardson. They see all they need to see from the Daniel Jones experience, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flacco's available, comes back, slinging it. And that's how we close out 2025. Just God. Flacco to Downs.
All right. We need a minimum of 1 running back here.
Your guy Braylon. I know you're a Braylon guy.
I really thought you were about to say Miles Sanders. I don't think. Well, actually, you know what? Miles Sanders makes sense. We need Miles Sanders. Yeah. Yep. Braylon Allen, dude, he doesn't even have his whole life ahead of him anymore because he got picked before we picked. And Mike Gesicki is gone. So take your pick of another running. You want to do Brashard Smith? You want to live a little, or Keaton Mitchell?
I do Smith if you want to do Smith.
I took Jarquez Hunter. That I just need to be a little bit more responsible. For a little while, Brashard Smith was my most drafted player, and that felt like a bit much. He is kind of the perfect player for me, though. Like a converted wide receiver to running back. There's nothing I love more than that. 7th round pick, super fast, chief. Just wait till he gets suspended for something stupid. Then it's I'm gonna be all in.
Yeah, I mean he already got suspended in college for.
Did he really?
Yeah, he got suspended for 1 game. It was like a team decision.
That's classic.
I don't want to talk out of my.
No. That sounds right to me.
He was he was benched for the first half against Stanford due to a violation of team rules.
That is utterly classic college football stuff. Not suspended, benched for the first half.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Also, Gesicki went at 174, so we never even I really wouldn't have considered him.
No, that's
man, the joke is really going to be on everyone who just spent the last 11 months drafting fantasy football teams with Chase and Burrow and the guys you needed in week 18. Turns out the people drafting Burrow at 64 and then backstacking him with Andre Yoshivas, Mike Gesicki, Jermaine Burton, and Taj Brooks. Like Taj Brooks scores like a 70-yard screen pass touchdown. Andre Yoshivas throws a touchdown to Joe Burrow. You guys just wait. The universe has plans for you guys. You just wait. The Joe Burrow backstack is coming for you.
Last time we drafted on your channel, I weaved the tale of Cole Kmet being the guy you needed.
You did weave this tale because I couldn't handle the Harold Fannin stuff. So you gave me some Cole Kmet kindness.
Yeah. But so in your mind's eye, how was Yoshi Boss getting there?
There is no. I can't even. There's no Yoshi Boss getting there. I've tried. I went on the ayahuasca retreat with Aaron Rodgers. I saw deep into the stars. I tried to find the way for Andre Yoshi Boss to be the winner, and I couldn't find it. I did find Jarquez Hunter being the winner, though. I mean, I think Jarquez Hunter is probably a bad pick and probably the running back 3 on the Rams. But what if he isn't?
What if he isn't?
He played college football without gloves, which is big. That just seems like you're an absolute dog if you play running back with no gloves. And I don't know, like if you play the ping-ponging theory of Sean McVay hates every second running back he drafts. He hates Corum and he likes Hunter, right?
Yeah. He hated Akers. Loved Kerrane. Hated Darrell Henderson. Mm-hmm.
I got those in reverse order. It was Akers. It was Henderson, Akers, Kerrane, Corum, Hunter.
Well, was there a running back in between Henderson and Akers that he loved? Because he hated both of them. Find out.
Rams draft history. There's probably someone like pretty obvious we're forgetting. Hunter, Corum, Zach Evans. There you go. Zach Evans never even got on the field.
Yep.
Kerrane was the year before that. Jake Funk the year before that. Akers the year before that. Henderson the year before that. John Kelly the year before that. And then Todd Gurley before that. Todd Gurley, younger than Derrick Henry, Kerrane.
That's crazy, man.
How you like that?
That's crazy.
How you like them apples? God. Gurley barely relevant in the Best Ball Mania era of fantasy football.
It's funny that all these guys out here talking about upside, they won't even draft Todd Gurley. One of the best running backs ever.
One of the best running backs. He's in the player pool, dude. No, this is actually true. By the time Best Ball Mania came around, Gurley was done. It was over.
Yeah. It was Falcons Gurley.
No. He had 1 year with the Rams, but he was awful. He averaged 3.8 yards per carry.
Was that Best Ball Mania 1?
That was best 2019, the year that Herzig won. 1,000 yards, but he did score 14 touchdowns.
Wasn't Best Ball Mania 1 2020? The 2020 season?
No, do it chronologically. It's Best Ball Mania 6 right now, and we're in 2025.
Right. But that makes it 2020.
Are you right? Maybe you are right. And to go back.
0 is the 6. Giddens is nice here. Giddens was sitting at top of the sidekick, but I've got a bajillion. Didn't want to force it.
No, and I think we need another tight end. Our tight ends, I just always take another tight end. Or actually, no, I lied.
What about Yoshi Voss?
Yeah, we need it. We could take Yoshi Voss. No, I'm taking Dontayvion Wicks.
What? Where did that come from?
Adam, that was to bring it back to
what was that?
Philadelphia. That was because I was about to take Andre Yoshi Voss in fantasy football, and I said no chance.
We could have taken Dontayvion. We could have taken one of these other tight ends.
You know who I should have just taken right there if I didn't get ahead of him. I should have just taken Jermaine Burton.
Yeah, that would have been a better pick. Jermaine Burton was a better pick than our actual pick.
It's not a good pick, dude. No, come on. The Wicks haters, of which there are many, that what they're doing, everything in fantasy football is happening right now, right? Life is a pendulum, and things are swinging. And the side swung so far away from the slappies last year that what everyone's doing is they're disavowing all the slappy players. A.D. Mitchell is like the 337th player in ADP on DraftKings. Like people are just anyone with the taint of slappiness failure on them is being shuttled from the orbit. And the fact of the matter is that is just not right. Like just as it's not right to make Joe Mixon a second-round pick because he was good last year, we also don't need to take someone with Dontayvion Wicks' separation data and just be like, well, they drafted Savion Williams, so obviously Dontayvion Wicks has no outs.
Well,
Dontayvion Wicks I'm lying by telling the truth here. Dontayvion Wicks did technically lead the Packers in targets last year. Technically speaking, that is true.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Golden. Golden is the reason. Like, Wicks wasn't a starter last year and was a fill-in receiver, and he can't catch the ball. And so it creates some worries about
he had a
whether or not...
2-touchdown game last year.
Okay.
I think you are doing this right now. I think you are actually afraid of being tainted with the slappy.
No, I was never fully in on Wicks. I wanted to draft Wicks, but you guys were so high on Wicks. It was like impossible to draft.
We're all trying to find the guy
close.
Who did this.
Truly, this is a Davis Mattek special. But you were in lockstep with some other analysts that were really high on Wicks.
Me, you, Gretch, and Peter set the min pick on him in the FFPC main event, a $2,500 fantasy football league. Of all the leagues, we took him the highest of anybody.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What's funny is that Gretch was on board because that is so not a Gretch player. Gretch doesn't go as much for the slappy hype boys.
Right. Now he was just... He wasn't a starting receiver, like that was always my issue. It's like,
why are we taking the Packers wide receiver 4? I remember I was messaging Justice Mosquidesa, who is a big Packers guy, and he was at Packers family night, and he charted the snaps. And I remember he messaged me the snaps, and Grand Dubois ran as many routes as Dontayvion Wicks, and I was like, I gotta bury this. I can't let this see the light of day. Davis, you had a chance. You could have backpedaled. No, dude, because I was like, it's too late, man. It's too late. It's too late for me. We already got to Packers family day, dude. It's too late.
Oh man.
It's too late.
The tournament was probably 40% filled. You could have pivoted.
It was too late. It was too late. The sun was shining. It was too late. It was too late for me.
Yeah.
All that is to say, Dontayvion Wicks is a totally fine 19th and 20th round pick on DraftKings Best Ball, and don't let the Best Ball cabal who led you astray last year tell you.
What you said, don't. You're the one.
Right, but I'm trying to help. So what I'm doing right now is like, do you ever watch the X-Files, Pat?
Yeah.
So, like, you know how sometimes people from the syndicate would be like, Mulder, protect yourself. I'm doing that to myself right now. Like, I'm inside the syndicate, but I'm also sending out, like, Agent X to be like, be careful. Don't go to this building. They're going to get you if you go here. Like, I'm protecting myself from myself.
Yeah, I would say that your paranoia does seem on Mulder levels. I'll give you that. I'm not sure this all ties together in any real way, which
it does. Just trust
feels
me.
Pretty X-Files-esque as well.
No, trust me. It makes sense.
Okay.
We need to make one. We need to make one final pick here.
Brashard Smith and A.D. Mitchell. Both very fun.
Do you think we should take a third tight end with McBride and with Loveland? Probably. We're probably fine either way.
We're probably fine. McBride's going to hit our lineups so frequently.
And if he doesn't, we were never going to win him $2 million of a $15 million prize pool ever again.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm happy. Look, I took on our last one, we did not take Brashard Smith because he went really early. So there you go. Brashard Smith, our final pick. Our team is Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, Jamar Chase, Ted McMillan, Chris Olave, Trey McBride, Jordan Addison, Michael Pittman Jr., Zach Charbonnet, Drake May, Byshell Tootin, Colston, Loveland, Demario Douglas, Jalen Knoll, Miles Sanders, Jarquez Hunter, DJ Giddens, Dontayvion Wicks, Brashard Smith. I mean, I guess at the end, maybe it would just feel better if we did have Higgins, but I just look how much freedom that bought us to take Chase Brown. We would have had to have taken we would have really wanted to have taken Kamara over Tet, or even worse, we would have wanted to take Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones over at this left side of the board right here. So I think we did the right thing.
I like Chase Brown. I mean, we played big hero running back build, right? We didn't take our running back 2, till the end of the 8th, and then running back 3 end of the 10th. And we took like Warren. I think we'll have some standalone value, some early season value, but in a lot of ways it's kind of a contingent bet, or like a bet on another back failing at the very least. Maybe Johnson doesn't have to get hurt. Maybe he's just not very good, but it could end up being that Warren is just kind of a backup. Charbonnet could just be a backup.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of rookies, but I like that we have a lot of cracks at running back. Seeing the full running back room, I was just really glad we got Brashard Smith there with the final pick. I
thought you were about to say, I'm really glad we got Miles Sanders for a 6.4 points week 1. Like, what an absolute victory.
The thought Miles Sanders really ties the room together did cross my mind as you were recapping the team. Yeah, I mean, but we have Tootin, Hunter, Giddens, Smith, to go with then kind of 2 contingent backs really in Warren and Charbonnet. So Sanders is, kind of, I could see us using him. And then for this team to like really crush, we need Chase Brown at some point, ideally quickly, and then
Chase Brown
the whole year.
And sneaky Colston Loveland, actually, because like if we're getting like Colston Loveland like flex weeks, that is like so big, because our running backs are not going to be hitting our flex, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, Loveland being a star would be huge for this team.
Maybe by the time we picked Giddens, even Shuck was gone, so we really never even had a chance to pick a third quarterback. So that actually makes the Burrow pick feel a little bit better as well.
Yeah, and Burrow and May, I think we're good with 2. Yeah. We could have taken a third, but not an issue.
All right, folks, legendaryupside.com. There's a free trial going on with the Sidekick with its sim version right now. Kerrane also has a cool offer for you guys if you want to sign up for the DraftKings best ball product over there. I will see you guys all back tomorrow. Thanks to our partners over at DraftKings.